guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariel and I am the co-founder of Flourish Lashes. If you guys are struggling with no-shows, cancellations, if this is blowing your mind the way it blew mine at some point in my lash career, this is the video for you. Okay, so I am trying to break this down as best as possible for you guys. So I'm gonna give you 3 different scenarios that your clients could potentially come at you with, and 3 resolutions to that, and 3 ways to prevent it altogether. So let's get into it. Scenario number 1, just plain old simple, I need to reschedule my appointment. So this is fine if it happens beforehand. We have all gone through that. But the time where it doesn't work out so well for us as lash artists is when it happens the day of, or maybe even like the night before, and then you have the client first thing in the morning. That can definitely mess up your schedule. So here's my way of dealing with this. As much as, we want to be the nice guy, and as much as we don't want people to walk over us, there is a fine line. And the thing is, when we have to deal with issues like this, if you let clients walk over you and kind of let things go, I guarantee you the same client will do the same thing to you because you let it go. And then you're the one suffering, not the client. So in this scenario, kill them with kindness. That doesn't mean you have to be rude. You do not have to be rude at all. But what you have to do is lay the law down. So that means clarifying your policy, whether that is having a non-refundable deposit or having to pay in full because the time frame is just too short in rescheduling the appointment. I promise you, if your client does end up going through with this and they do pay the full amount or they accept the non-refundable deposit, they will come back to you and this will never happen again. Or something you also have to accept is that sometimes your client can get upset and they may or may not come back to you. Now, a lot of times people get really scared of that scenario happening, but I promise you it's better for that client to not come back to you than for this to be occurring every 2 weeks in your schedule, because then that just messes you up in the long run. Okay, so to sum this up, I have 3 things that you can do to prevent this from actually happening more often. So tip number 1 is make sure that you do charge a deposit. That really does help reduce any no-shows or cancellations. Tip number 2 is put a policy in place where maybe between 48 hours of the actual appointment, your client isn't subject to getting a deposit back if it cancel within that 48-hour time frame. Third tip is super simple, but I promise it really does help because I've seen it myself, is make sure that you are confirming with your clients the day before yourself. Send them a quick message, just confirm that they will be attending their appointment and wait for that response, because you never know what can come up within that time frame and they have the opportunity to let you know beforehand. Okay, next scenario, the most common one and by far the most annoying, is having a no-show. No-shows are the worst. It is crazy. I actually remember a week where I actually had 5 no-shows, 1 every single day. So first things first, make sure that you are charging a deposit. Chances are if someone pays you 20 bucks or whatever the case is, they're gonna show up for the appointment. I have actually never had a client pay a deposit and not show up for the appointment. It's not fair for you. It's not fair for your time. So you have to do everything you can, as much as you sometimes don't want to because you are trying to get clients. I always emphasize this. It doesn't matter how many clients you have. At the end of the day, you want to have quality clients, because you could have a ton of clients, but if you have a ton of clients booked in for a full week and half of those clients no show or reschedule last minute, you are guaranteed to have a crappy week, my friend. So you want to make sure quality over quantity, and these policies, rules, setting these things up, this is how you're gonna make sure you are bringing in quality clients and people are not taking advantage of you or your time. Okay, couple things on how you can actually prevent this other than the ones we talked about. First thing, setting up automatic reminders. If you are booking with a booking app or anything like that, you can set that up so your client is aware of their appointment maybe 48 hours and 24 hours prior, so that way they don't forget, because that also does happen sometimes. So they are aware they're coming in for their appointment. Also, you can even give your client an option maybe 48 hours before their appointment, kind of to confirm as well, but maybe add in there the option to reschedule if needed. So that way you are opening the door for communication and you're letting them know that, hey, it's okay to reschedule. Just let me know in an appropriate amount of time, which is right now. Something also kind of fun, kind of nice for your client, and it really does amp up your customer experience, is giving them a little bit of a prep before they come in for their appointment. appointment. And this can act as somewhat of a reminder as well. Maybe sending them a pre-appointment text, maybe 24 hours before, letting them know don't come in with any makeup, making sure that they're coming in with clean lashes, making sure that they're nice and cozy because you don't want them to be cold while they're lying on the bed, anything like that to give them kind of that excitement coming into their appointment. And like I said, it also acts as a reminder for their appointment. Chances are they will not miss it if they know that and they reply. So really and truly just emphasizing that great experience is gonna get them excited and make sure that they wanna come back in for the appointment. Okay, and our last scenario is I can't make my appointment today. So this does happen. There's some pros and cons, honestly, because if you have a no-show, you're pretty pissed off. But if you have someone messaging you the day of letting you know that they can't come in, it does help and does soften the blow a little bit. That's also a gap in our calendar and we don't want that. So let's go through a couple things we can do to kind of stop this from happening or how we should actually reply. When this client messages you, chances are something came up. Sometimes it's an emergency, sometimes it's not. So depending on the situation and the severity of the reason why they're not coming in, you can definitely offer them another option. So something I like to do is send a quick message. Hey, thank you so much for letting me know. I hope everything is okay. If you wanted to, I do have XYZ available today. If you happen to have another time available that they could take that day, maybe offer it to them because then that way you're not missing out on that client for that day. If not, you can definitely let them know that they can reschedule their appointment. That's no problem. Unfortunately, there is going to be a charge for rescheduling the appointment just due to the short notice. Hope they understand. And something else that's actually cool is if you let the client know that they could reschedule the same day for a later time, you can let them know that you can waive that rescheduling fee just so it kind of brings them in, and that way you don't have to kind of give the client the bad news that they got to pay the whole thing without actually getting the service, right? So these things do happen. And again, depending on the severity of the situation, you can work it through. I know sometimes a lot of us are close with our clients and they do end up telling us why they couldn't come in or if something was wrong. And yes, some situations, especially when you're close to your clients, things we personally can let slide, we let slide. Now, this is all dependent on your circumstances and how you feel about that client or how you feel about the situation. But these are things to keep in mind when you're dealing with your overall set of clients and how to prevent these things from actually happening. We went through a bunch of different scenarios, and I know these are things that can come up pretty often as a lash artist. And it doesn't matter if you're a new lash artist or you're an experienced lash artist. Things like this happen. One thing I will say is that when I started lashing, I definitely came across these things a lot more than I do now, and that's just because I have regulars. So a lot of times when you start getting regular clients that come in on a regular basis, you form relationships with them, and they do tend to respect your time a little bit more than people who've only recently been coming to you. But this is why it's so important to build a really great customer service reputation, and it's so important to make sure that you have that relationship with your clients where they are loyal to you, because it doesn't just benefit that single appointment, it benefits you in the long run in all aspects of how you deal with your clients, how your clients deal with you, and it's a give and take. So I know, let's say for instance, my clients, because I am doing the business and I have so much stuff going on, I have a couple regulars that do come to me, and unfortunately I do have to switch them ever so often, actually quite often. And to be honest, my clients are so amazing that they are willing to switch the appointments whenever I need to. And sometimes it's last minute, but then that also works both ways. When they message me and they need to switch last minute because they also don't do it very often, I am more than willing to do that for them because they're so understanding. It is a relationship. You need to keep this in mind. It's a relationship. It goes both ways. You definitely want to nurture this relationship because it does help in the longevity of your lashing career. Now, when it comes to nurturing the relationship, that's going into the customer service side of things. And I recently got a comment on one of my videos or reels that I posted on Instagram about customer service. And it was a great comment questioning how to deal with clients when they have issues or when they're upset about something. And she was basically saying that it was very difficult for her. So I actually want to do a video on this. So my next video is going to be all about customer service and how to actually provide great customer service as a lash artist, because I have noticed in my time in this industry, that is the one thing a lot of lash artists lack, because it is so tricky sometimes, and we focus so much on the lashing and not the actual customer service part of it that we forget that it is a service that we're providing. And at the end of the day, we need to make sure that our clients are happy. And like I said, it is a relationship we need to nurture. So if you guys like that idea, comment down below. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I can definitely answer them in the next video. But stay tuned, my next video will be all about customer service. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back with something new next time. Bye.